Hello friends, and today is day one of Amazing Readathon. So, what am I reading? I am on Team Sci-Fi for this leg. So my goal for every leg is to read a book that is the genre of the team that I'm on. Technically, you don't have to do this. I'm an overachiever. Okay, so technically you don't have to do this. It's only 50 extra points. So you don't have to read like your team genre the whole month. But since I'm a producer, I jump from team to team every leg. So I figure that I will try to read that team's genre. So the first book that I am reading is The Dark Tower, Book 1, The Gunslinger by Stephen King. And our prompt for our city, which is Toronto, I believe. It's in Canada. Okay, so if I'm wrong, I'll correct it later. But our prompt is to read a book that you do not own. So I got this book, the physical book, so that I can follow along, and also the audiobook from the library. I got this from the physical library, obviously, and then I downloaded the audiobook through Libby. Yeah, so basically this prompt is just that you can't use any kind of subscription service. You can't have purchased the book. So you could use like Stuff Your Kindle Day books, because technically those are free. You could also look on Kindle to find a book. Obviously it's past that time if you're seeing this, so it doesn't matter. But that was the whole thing. So I went to the library and I did a big library haul, which you'll see at some point, and this was a book that I needed to read. So I have this one and the second book, which I don't know the name of, but that's fine. It's in the other room. And that's what I'm planning on reading for sci-fi for this leg. So I am like 60%-ish through this book. I have, wow, that was great. I have about this much left. It's only like a 7-hour audiobook at 1 time speed, and I'm listening to it at 2 times speed. So I think I only have a couple of hours left. So I won't finish it tonight, but I will probably finish it tomorrow. But yeah, so we had kickoff sprints. I hung out with Bree and Lexi and Cassidy and Heather and Leandra and Margaret and Crystal. I feel like that was everybody that was on sprints today. So if I missed somebody, I apologize. And yeah, liking this book so far. It feels like a 5-star to me. We'll see how the ending goes. Cliffhangers tend to piss me off, but it's a series, so I should expect a cliffhanger. But that's all I have for now, and I'll be back when I have an update. Hello friends. Alright, so I have completed The Gunslinger by Stephen King. This was my book to get to Toronto, so I'm officially in Toronto now, and we're just patiently waiting for the next drop. So I am giving The Gunslinger 5 stars. I'm not 100% sure what was happening in this book. It is the first book of I think it's an 8-book series. And yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was really good. I did like immersion read some of it, and then I also did the audiobook for some. So love this book. Very, very good. I will be moving on to The Drawing of the Three, which is the second book in this series. I'll just hold it up. I got these from my library, so that's fine. But the first one fit for the prompt because of it being a book that you did not purchase. I don't know that I will get this one done before the next prompt drop, but I have started it. So if I don't get it done, then I'm just going to set it down because I won't get to 50%. And yeah, that's basically where we're at this moment. Because I think when the new prompt drops, I move teams. So Gunslinger is done. Our first book, and we are in Toronto. So yeah, and like I said, I've started the drawing of the 3, but I don't think I will get it done. But I don't know. I think it's going to depend. But this book is a bit longer. So Gunslinger was like 230-ish pages. And this one is 200 more pages than that. This one's like 406. So yeah, so the audiobook is longer as well. And the audiobook was a bit late getting to me because I had to wait for it to be like on hold. So it came through like really early this morning, and I've only just started it. So I don't know. I guess it will depend on when everything gets spread out. But that's where we are. I think I already said this, but my goal for this year, as far as this goes, is for me to read the genre of the team that I'm on, because as the producer, or as a producer, no, there's like 5 of us, but as a producer, I jump from team to team every leg. So whatever team I'm on is the genre that I will read. But also I'm starting to wonder if I'm a little like not smart enough for sci-fi, which is interesting because I'm smart enough for fantasy. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the books that I'm picking. I'm not really sure. So I'm going to go read. I'm on sprints right now with Heather from Hia Booktube. So I'm going to go listen to some more of my audiobook. Sorry for all of the noise in the background. And continue working on this Lala diamond painting because I want to get it done so that I can start Loki. And when I start the Loki painting, like actually start putting diamonds on it, it's already kitted up and it's like the canvas is prepped, but as soon as I start actually putting diamonds on it, I will insert some footage of me actually like doing the thing, you know what I mean? So that's where we are. Yeah, I also took my detour picture today and I used Ari, so if you haven't seen it, it's in the Discord. And it was up on my Instagram, but by the time you see this, it'll be gone. But it is in the Discord. So, awesome. Okay, goodbye. Hello, friends. So, I have a quick update. So, what am I supposed to even do? I don't know, but we're going to go with it. Alright, so, we are on leg 2. And our prompt for this leg is dual POV, and I am reading for Team Fantasy. So I am reading a Kindle Unlimited book for this round because I need to get my Kindle Unlimited books read down. I wasn't very successful with that in May, around other things that were happening in real life. The boyfriend came back from his adventure, Ari's birthday, all that. So I'm reading The Veiled Kingdom by Reni. This is on Kindle Unlimited. The cover is like this really pretty pink color, so I hope to love this book. I've been told that it is a bully fantasy romance, so I don't know, like I'm not really a romantic-y person, and that's what this is, so I'm hoping that I like it. But I had to have something that had a dual POV in it to get to Buenos Aires. So that's what we're reading, and it doesn't have an audiobook, so I have to read it on my Kindle, which is fine. But that means that it's cut down on my diamond painting. So we'll probably try to find a book that has audio with it for sightseeing, so that I can actually get like a sightseeing book completed. But that's where we are. That's what we're doing. I did finish all that, so great. And yeah, so we will see where this takes me, and if I have time to do any sightseeing before this or not. I don't know. I may or may not have in the last round, so that's where we're at. So here we go. Veiled Kingdom, and I'm like 5% in, and so far it's pretty fun. I did find a playlist on Spotify to listen to while reading it, so that's where we're at. So when I have another update, I will be back. Hello, friends. So this is going to be kind of two things at once. So we're going to be vlogging the face-off weekend, but I'm going to kind of kick it off with talking about sprints with Katie. So the sprints with Katie got rescheduled, so we're doing them today, which is Thursday. By the time that you watch this, it will be over. But we're reading The Housemaid is Watching, which is the third book in the Housemaid trilogy by Freida McFadden. And so I just wanted to pop in here. I'm on chapter 10 currently, and we're on sprints right now on Katie's channel. We're doing 6 hours on her channel and 6 hours on mine. But I decided that I kind of wanted to vlog this and just like talk our way through. We're also going to be switching out Kindle stickers and making them gay for Pride Month, so it's gonna be super fun. And yeah, so I just wanted to pop in here and just talk for a second about that. Like I said, I'll also be vlogging Face Off weekend during this as well. So yeah, reading The Housemaid is Watching. So far it's crazy, you know what I mean? I'm 10 chapters in, and it's a nutcase. It's a nut show. So I'll be back in a little while with an update. Hello friends, and good morning. It is about 3 a.m. here, and I am on the second leg of sprints. Not like second leg, but like the second leg for me of the 48-hour Amazing Readathon sprints. So we are here sprinting. It's very, very early in the morning, and yeah, so I slept for a couple of hours and then I got up so I could sprint. So I'm on right now with Crystal, and we've got a couple of different books going. So I have Leather and Lark that I'm still okay, gross. Anyway, I have Leather and Lark that I'm still working on, and I have this on my Kindle. I do have an audiobook, but I'm not doing an audiobook. The audiobook's just not very great. And then I also have it physically, so I'm going to kind of jump between physical and Kindle versions. And then Crystal gave me a book on Audible, which is called More With You by Alex Birdie. This is like a trans romance, so it's an LGBTQIA plus romance, and cool. So I don't really know anything about this, but I'm going to listen to this as well. So we're doing a longer sprint. For this first sprint, we're doing like 90 minutes. So I have my coffee made. I'm going to go take a shower to try to wake myself up, and then we're going to read. So that's what we're doing. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear my brother in the background. He's up playing games as he does. So that is what it is. I'm not going to really edit that out, but that's what we're doing. So good morning, happy reading, and I'll be back to check in. Hello friends. Alright, so I am updating from outside today. I've decided that I'm going to make this into like a week-long vlog, week in the life, whatever. I kind of want to get back into doing that, and I had planned on doing like update vlogs every week, like weekly Amazing Readathon vlogs, and then that got overwhelming. So we're just going to kind of talk about the books that I've read so far this month, but I will finish this segment of the vlog up because originally this was just going to be like a face-off weekend slash reading The Housemaid is Watching with Katie vlog, and then I decided to kind of make it into my own thing. So yeah, it's really hot today, but it's also like breezy, so hopefully you can hear me okay even with like the wind. I do need to get an external microphone, but that is another problem for another day. So let's go over really quick just the books that I read specifically for Face Off weekend this weekend. So the goal, I guess, of Face Off weekend for producers was that we were making objects harder to find with each book. I didn't read as much as some of the other producers or even like people participating. I only read like 4 books, I think, in total for Face Off weekend. So let's talk about the books that I read, and also any books that I started specifically over the weekend, which I think there was only one that I actually started specifically over the weekend. So I finished The Only One Left which my story graph is not up to date. I need to sit through today and actually update it completely. I kind of fell off like getting each book marked off on the right date, so I have to go back through and do that, but that's okay. So I did finish my my leg book for leg 5, I think it was, that we were on before we started Face Off. And for that one, I read The Only One Left, which is by Riley Sager. It's not his newest one. His newest one comes out in July, I believe. But it's the one that came out last year, and it was like about a woman. It's about a woman who was accused of killing her entire family. People think she killed her. Basically like a Lizzie Borden type thing. There's gonna be a motorcycle. Very rude. Anyway, oh god, because you've gone any slower over my house. Anyways, so it's kind of like a Lizzie Borden type situation with that, and so she lives in this house on the top of a cliff, and the cliff is like eroding, but which that is like part of the story, which I thought was crazy, but she basically wants to like share her story, and our main character is her caregiver. I think Miss Hope is Lenora Hope is supposed to be like 75 years old or something. So I really enjoyed that book. I gave it 5 stars. I've not given, I think the only other one I gave 5 stars was The House Across the Lake, which I really did enjoy that book, but I also finished it at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry. There was a person that went past and they like slowed down because they were going through the alley and they were staring at me. Someday I will get used to filming in the public. Okay, so I read that, or I finished that. That was not specifically for Face Off, but I did read 3 books for Face Off. I'm looking like right now, like to see. I finished 3 and I started 4. So the first book that I completed for Face Off was What the Hex by Alexis Daria. This is an Audible original. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes, which for Face Off, books had to be 50 pages, or I believe it was 1.5 hour or 2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that long. I think they had to be 2 hours long or 50 pages. So this one was 2 hours and 45 minutes long, and it started out really cute. I gave it 2 stars, and I'm going to explain why. So it started out really, really cute. It's a book about, I can just read it to you. It's about a secret magical enclave near Miami, Florida, home to the richest and most powerful Latinx witch families. So the place is called Isla Bruja. And so we're following Catalina, and she goes home for her sister's wedding, and while she's there, she finds out that her soon-to-be brother-in-law is possessed by a demon. So this man that her sister is marrying is the brother of Catalina's like arch rival from high school or whatever, who she also thinks is hot. So like it's a enemies to lovers style book. Of course, like I thought this was cute at first because like the concept of the enemies to lovers was that basically like he had always wanted to be with her. He always thought that she was so pretty. His name is Diego. So Diego has always thought that Catalina was like pretty, and he always thought she was so smart, and he like loved her and like wanted to be with her. And Catalina had no time for Diego. She hated him. She felt like she was always in competition with him. And so the enemies to lovers part of this was really only on her part of the equation, and I really did like that concept. However, here is where they lost me. They were using sexual innuendos, which is fine. Like I'm all for smut, you know what I mean? But the sexual innuendos that they were using had to do with magic. So if you weren't on sprints with Margaret, who is on sprints? Margaret and Bree and I, while I was listening to this book, I'm just going to give you a few lines that were in this book that were terrible. Okay, so the first one is that he they are coming up with these like sexual innuendos, and he literally looks at her and is like, I want to finger you like a Ouija board. Just let that sink in. First of all, sir, that's not how Ouija boards work. You know? Also, let's not play with Ouija boards. You know what I mean? But also, like, ew. Okay? And then at the end of the book, like, I was like, ooh, that's terrible. Like, because this book was sitting at like a 4-star up until that point. And then it went down to like a 3.5. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'll still push through it. It'll be fine. And then at the end, she's talking to her best friend on the phone. And she says, have fun burning on your boyfriend's steak. Ma'am. Absolutely not. No. So, it was, I mean, it's quick. And it was a fun time until it wasn't. You know what I mean? So, I give that one 2 stars. But it is available on Audible. So, if you have an Audible Premium subscription, which I do, then you can read that one for free. You don't have to use a credit or anything. It's just part of your Audible Premium subscription. Alright, so then the next one that I read was recommended to me actually by Bree after I had finished What the Hex, and that is Stoneheart by Katie Robert. This is the prequel novella to the Dark Olympus series. So the first full-length novel in the Dark Olympus series is Neon Gods, and I own Neon Gods, but I have not actually read it. So, boyfriend's home. That one is coming soon in a vlog. So I read that. I gave it 5 stars. It was good. I really liked it. It's about Medusa and someone. Medusa and Calypso. So I like that one. Can't wait for Neon Gods. And then the last one that I read for Face Off Weekend specifically was More Me With You. This one was recommended to me by Crystal, and it was 2 hours 56 minutes. It's gay. It's about a trans man and his best friend, and it was cute and great. Anyways, this one, More Me With You, is also available as an Audible original, so you can also read this one for free. So the other book that I started for Face Off Weekend but I did not finish because the audiobook is not the vibe, was Leather and Lark. I am still reading that one, but I've chosen to read it on my Kindle / physically. I own it both ways. I am more than 15%. I'm not actually sure how far in this book I am, but I can check. It says, like I said, my story graph is not up to date, so if that's how you're following this, sorry. I keep forgetting to update it, but it's updated everywhere that it needs to be. So let me see. Leather and Lark. I am 40% through Leather and Lark. So this book is great so far, but the audiobook is not great. It would be fine if we didn't have so much graphic audio. I don't want to hear people moaning and doing weird things. So 40% through Leather and Lark, but I did not finish it in time for Face Off Weekend, so that's fine. Now let's talk about the other books that I have read so far for this readathon. Specifically, like I said, I'm going to make this into a week-long vlog, and it's going to be great. Okay, so the books that I have read so far this month, I've read 9, and that's way better than last month. I read like 3 books last month. So I have read The Dark Tower #1, which is The Gunslinger by Stephen King. I gave that one 5 stars. I listened to it as an audiobook. If you asked me what exactly is going on, I have no idea. But it was a great time. Even though I didn't really understand. I feel like I'm too stupid for this series. But my boyfriend asked me to read it, so I'm going to. And sometimes I'm too dumb for books. But that's fine. It's sci-fi, fantasy. So I have no idea what's going on. But I am buddy reading this series with Carissa and Christina. I believe Christina has read to book 2, but Carissa has not yet. But Carissa is also doing Amazing Readathon. So we're trying to like fit it into where it needs to be. I also finished Funny Story, which is 5 stars. Well, actually I gave it 6 stars. I gave Funny Story 6 stars. This was specifically for book club. The That's What She Read book club, which I will link down below if you want to go join that. It's like $10 a month, I think, because it's part of the Hustle Sanely suite of things that you can buy. If you are already a Hustle Sanely BFF, which is like $60 every 3 months or something, then you get book club for free. But I finished Funny Story, 5 stars, or 6 stars actually, I'm sorry. Gave it 6 stars. This is my favorite Emily Henry book to date, so it's pushed book lovers out of the running. I absolutely love this book. And also, if you're gonna leave me Miles hate in the comments, don't, because we love Miles, even though he wears Crocs, but we love him all the same. Also, Crocs are very comfortable, so I can't really blame him. The next book that I read this month, specifically for this readathon, was All Systems Red. This was a sightseeing book, and I used it for the 500 point prompt of like a book Brie gave 5 stars. So I used this one. This is the first book in the Murderbot Diaries. I don't know if I'm going to continue with this series. I did give the first one 5 stars, but again, I feel like I'm too stupid. I'm not really completely sure what was going on. I tried reading this with my eyes. That did not work, so I switched and listened to the audiobook, and I understood it more, but still not at all, you know? So 5 stars for that. I read Slaying the Shadow Prince, which if you've been on sprints with me, I keep calling this Slaying the Shadow Daddy because the guy on the front, that's what he looks like. So I gave this one 4 stars. It was good. It was fine. I wish the spicy scenes had been more than what they were, to be honest. But it was fine. Like, it was a good time. I listened to that as an audiobook. I think I got it from Everand, or maybe I bought it. I might have bought it, to be honest with you. I don't remember, but it was good. And it's like an enemies to lovers monster romance. So if you're not into monster romance, maybe don't read it. But I personally liked it. I think she's a human and he's something. I don't remember, to be honest. I remember nothing after I read it, so you're here. Alright, I've talked about the books I read for Face Off, and then I've also read Charlotte Leather and Lark. I already said that. And then I have read To Bleed a Crystal Bloom. This I did read for the readathon, like it counted as a book that I read for the readathon, but it's also the Naughty and Nice Patreon book pick for this month, which is me and Nicole. We're doing the Naughty and Nice book club on our Patrons. Our top tier Patrons get book club. So To Bleed a Crystal Bloom, this is a Rapunzel retelling by Sarah A. Parker, who also wrote When the Moon Hatched, I think she also wrote, and I liked it. It was a fantasy romance. I'm not really a fantasy romance like girly, but a retelling as a fantasy romance is totally fine. So cool. So I gave that one 5 stars. It wasn't quite a 6 for me. I don't know. The main character was a little whiny, but that's to be expected, I guess, if you've been locked up your whole life, you know? So also, I think it would be considered Why Choose as well, but I'm not sure. So there's that. And then I read The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I talked about this one a little bit. This one was for nature on the cover, which I was was making the cliff count as nature, and I give it 5 stars. It's probably my favorite Riley Sager book, because I do know that I gave The House Across the Lake 5 stars, but I also finished that book at 2 o'clock in the morning, so I'm not actually sure that the twist was as good in reality as it was to my 2 o'clock in the morning brain before I was on night shift. So those are all the books that I've read. I've also started A Fate Inked in Blood. I did start reading this for a vlog like last month or the month before, where I was gonna read physical books for a week, and to be honest with you, that vlog never came to fruition because I only made it 30% into this book, and then I just like forgot to update the vlog because that's my life. But I do own this physically as well. I've started over. This is for religion. Like I need a book that has religion in it, and this is like Norse mythology, which we love, Vikings, so that's cool. And then I don't really know a lot about this book other than the banter is top notch in this. So yeah, I own this in all 3 formats, so I'll be able to read it physically, on my Kindle, as an audio book, however I need to read it. But since we need I don't own a lot of books that have religion in them, and I didn't want to have to buy an audiobook, I'm gonna be honest. So here we are, Daniel L. Jensen, and the 30% of this that I read a month ago, I enjoyed it, so I just started over, and I'm enjoying rereading from the beginning. So that's all I have for now. Thank you so much for listening and sitting outside with me. It is so hot out here, but also windy. I don't know how that works, probably because I live in Iowa, but when I have more to tell you, I'll be back. Hello friends. Alright, so I'm back today, sorry, kick y'all, with a little update. So I'm reading 2 books currently. I'm on sprints right now with Kelsey, Reni, and Katie. Kelsey, Reni, and Katie, and we are reading Love Unwritten. So these are specifically Love Unwritten sprints. This is the 2nd book in the Lakefront Billionaire series by Lauren Asher. So the first book was Love Redesigned, which I have inside. I didn't bring it out, but I read Love Redesigned earlier this year. I don't remember when, but I did read it earlier this year and gave it 6 stars. It's like one of my best books of the year. I'm pretty sure I read it this year. Maybe I read it last year. Let me just check my stats for y'all. This is why I always have my computer next to me. Yeah, Love Redesigned was read this year. I think maybe I read it in April, but I absolutely loved it. I gave it 6 stars. It's one of the best books of my 2023, which I don't have a ton, or 2024, which I don't have a ton. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 out of the like 62 that I've read. So this one follows Raphael and Ellie, and we meet them in Love Redesigned. So Love Redesigned followed Julian and I do not remember her name. Julian and someone. I don't remember what the girl's name was. I know it was mentioned in here, and I do not remember now. I don't remember. Dahlia. Okay, so the first one follows Julian and Dahlia, and this one follows Raphael and Ellie. So Love Redesigned is a childhood friends to enemies to lovers book. So they were childhood friends, and then I think they dated at some point, and then they became enemies, and then by the end they're lovers. Okay, so that's what that is. This one is a nanny single dad romance. So Ellie has known Raphael since high school. He's only like 3 years older than her, I think, because I think she says in this book that he that's so rude. Anyway, that he was a senior when she was a freshman, so I'm making like 3-ish years older than her. And I really love the banter in this one. I am on page 72, so I'm to chapter 10 now. And like I said, I'm currently on sprints with my friends, and we're all reading this. I know Katie is like the furthest in this, but I feel like since we've been reading now for actually reading for about 2.5 hours, 10 chapters is really good, but I may finish this today. It is like a 600-page book, so I will say that, but I'm absolutely loving this. I will find a way to use this for sightseeing because I'm really loving this book. And then I have a Fate Inked in Blood. So I meant to update yesterday, which by the way, happy Juneteenth when I'm filming this, but I meant to update this yesterday and I forgot. I was on sprints with Leandra yesterday afternoon, and I have made quite a dent in this one. I'm on page 72, which puts me not quite at where I left off. Let me just look at my story graph so I can tell you where I am in this. I'm about 17% into a Fate Inked in Blood. So I did start this one in May, and I didn't soft DNF it. I was using it for a vlog that I ended up not completing. So I set this one down. I'm sorry, there's like people outside, but I set this one down for a little while, but I did make it to about 30%. So my goal for today is to try to make it 30% into this. I don't know how much of this I'm actually going to get read today is the problem, because I'm reading this, and honestly this book has my entire heart right now. But yeah, those are the 2 books that I'm reading. This one, for anyone who may not know, or maybe if I didn't say, I don't ever remember what I've already said in vlogs, but this one is a Norse fantasy romance, and it's got a lot of Norse mythology in it. We're following Freya, who has found out that she is a shield maiden, which she knows this, but she has basically been told her entire life to hide it from people, because once people find out that she is a shield maiden, they will come after her. Let me grab my coffee. Edit. Okay, but once they find out that she's shield maiden, people will come after her from like the other villages, and they will want her. The different jarls will want her. So jarls are like kings. So basically she gets married off to one of the jarls, the jarl that her brother works for from their village, and her brother is like part of their army or whatever, and she has been purposely making it so that she cannot have children with her husband, who she subsequently ends up killing, but whatever. It happens in like the first 2 chapters, but she ends up killing him, and she gets married off to the Jarl because he says that he has been told by the gods that she needs to marry him and it will help. So this is being read for Amazing Readathon. This is being read for like 6, which is a book with religion in it, and this has a lot of religion, just like Norse mythology, Norse religion. Like there's a lot of talk about gods and a lot of praying to gods and things like that. So yeah, we're loving this book so far. I'm loving it, honestly. And I got like the Pretty Edges cover, so like I'm really glad that I'm liking this book, because Pretty Edges don't always make a great book, you know what I mean? But yeah, this is, I think, supposed to be some kind of a series. I don't know if it's a duology, a trilogy, 12 books, I'm not sure, because this is only the first one. It just came out this year, and this is book 1. So I can't wait for the next books to come out, and I'm hoping that the first editions of the next books all have Pretty Edges as well, because I will buy them. So that's what I'm currently reading. Love Redesigned and A Fate Inked in Blood. This is actually for Amazing Readathon, and this is just because we had this already planned. This came out yesterday, so this came out on the 18th, and we had reading sprints planned for the 19th in hopes that everyone would get their copies. I know that Katie and I went and picked up copies. I think Katie picked up her copy yesterday. I picked up mine this morning before sprints, and then I believe Kelsey and Reni are still waiting for their copies to come in the mail. There are so many people out here, of course, but yeah, I'm really loving this one. So if you're looking for like, and Lauren Asher reads so quickly, but but I also love her writing. I think that's what really gets me, is I love Maya Asher's writing and her characters. These also have footnotes in them because she uses a lot of Spanish words in here. She is, I think, Dominican or something. She is, I know she's like some type of Latinx, so I really do love that. All of the characters in these books are all Latinx. I think in Dreamland Billionaires, the brothers were all white, but then Iris was a black woman. I do remember that, but I think the rest of the characters in that series were white. This series is all Spanish people, except I don't think Ellie is Spanish. I think Ellie may be white. But our main character, like Julian and Dahlia, are both from Spanish families, and then Raphael in this book is Julian's cousin. So, but they have always been like raised like brothers. So yeah, also I'm so glad I'm loving this because these books are so pretty. And yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling. But that's what I'm reading currently. So when I get to like 50% of one or both of these books, I'll come back, unless of course I finish this one today, which I might do. Lauren Asher is definitely one of my favorite romance authors. Like, I need to buy the Dreamland Billionaire series from her as well, because I really love the books that I've read. I need to finish the third one. I didn't like the way that Cal was written in the third one, so I don't know, but I want to own them and I want the whole series, so I need to read the third one. But yeah, love this. Also traditionally published by Bloom, but these are on Kindle Unlimited, so if you want to just like read them and you don't want to purchase them, they're on Kindle Unlimited. That's actually how I'm reading on my Kindle, because I figure, yeah, like I paid for the physical book, but I can also give some money for KU. So that's it. That's all. I have 5 minutes left of this sprint, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see how much more of this book I can get read before we come back from a sprint. But I am super loving this, so yeah, I'll be back later with another update. Hello friends, good afternoon. I am outside. It's hot as hell out here. It was really nice yesterday because it was like overcast and rainy, but today is really hot. But I'm determined to do sprints out here for as long as I can today. I just feel like fresh air is self-care, you know what I mean? So I have coffee. I'm on sprints right now with Aoife. She has sprints for the amazing Readathon, and I have my Kindle and my book. So let's talk about what I'm reading. We got Leg 7 this morning, it was announced. So the prompt for Leg 7 is a source of light on the cover. So I will be reading Part of Your World for Team General Fiction. I know that this is a romance book, but I don't gravitate really toward like general fiction or historical fiction, so I went with this. It has a sun and a moon both on it, and like stars. It also has like lights like in the buildings. I know it's hard to see the cover on here, but there's like lights on the buildings. So I'm reading that. This is the first book in the little like interconnected standalone series that Abby Jimenez wrote, and I am not an Abby Jimenez girly. I've not read anything. Well, I've read one short story by her and I did enjoy it. I think I gave it 4 stars, and it was part of like the Meet Cute Amazon Originals little series, and I did enjoy it, so I figured I would try a full-length novel. This is, I think, reverse age gap, I think. Let me look up the synopsis really quick. But I am reading that. My hold for it came in like at the perfect time, so I was like, well, I'll just pick it up. I'm also sorry for this bird that's over here. Whatever. So it is a modern fairy tale, an instant New York bestseller. So it looks like we're following Alexis Montgomery and Daniel Grant. And Daniel is 10 years younger than Alexis. So this is a reverse age gap. I think it also might be reverse Grumpy Sunshine. So she would be the Grump and he's the Sunshine. But I haven't read this, but a lot of my friends have. I think Reni's read it. I know Katie's read it. I think Kelsey has read it. And they all really like Abby Jimenez. So I'm going to try her out. Right now, like one of my favorite romance authors, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, is Lauren Asher. So I'm hoping that the writing is like similar to that. I'm hoping to love this. So that's what I'm reading for the Amazing Readathon. And then I am still working on Love Unwritten. I made it to chapter 17 last night. So, and then I put it down for personal reasons, just because like life ended up happening. So I didn't read a ton of this more after sprints last night, but I did finish chapter 16. I am still absolutely loving this book. It's so good. Lauren Asher, like I said, one of my favorite romance authors right now, and her writing is so easy to read. I care about all of her characters. I just really love Lauren Asher as an author. So I'm going to be working on this as well, and I'm hoping to get it done, but it is going a little bit slow because I am annotating on my Kindle. For anyone who's like new, or maybe like you've never watched one of my vlogs before, I am 100% Kindle girly. Majority of my reading is done digitally, so either through my Kindle or through audiobooks, but I do also like having, sorry for the truck, I do also like having physical copies of books for videos, so I have something to actually hold up for you to look at, but also just to be on my shelf. And I knew that with the Lauren Asher series, also like Brynn Weaver is one of my favorite romance authors as well, but she's dark romance, so I don't necessarily, she's dark horror romance, so I don't necessarily like suggest her to everyone. But Lauren Asher, I feel like, is just such a good contemporary romance writer. But I will say that there is spice in her books, and not everyone enjoys spice. I personally, it doesn't bother me if there is or if there isn't. I actually usually will prefer that there is, unless I'm told from the beginning. I'm kind of the opposite of some people. Like, a lot of people want to be told if there is spice in a romance book. I want to be told if there isn't. The exception to this would be like if I'm reading like YA romance, but if I'm reading adult romance, I do like for someone to be like, hey, this is closed door. A lot of times I will read synopses just to find out if it's a closed door romance, because usually it will be in the synopsis. I don't mind closed door romances. In fact, sometimes I gravitate towards closed door romances, but the tension still has to be there for me. Like, I still want it to feel like tensiony and angsty, and like they love each other, like they could have sex, you know what I mean? And closed door doesn't mean that they never have sex in a book. It just means that you don't see it happen, like it's implied or whatever, or like talked about as like an experience that happened, but it's not something like you don't see it happening, so it's not like described to you or anything like that. But that's what I'm working on. I also have Leather and Lark, which is inside, that I might try to read some more of today. It doesn't really fit prompts, like it fits sightseeing. So I think I could actually get Leather and Lark done before I get Love Unwritten done, just because it's a little bit shorter and I've read a bit more of it. But I could pick that up today as well. It'll just kind of depend, because kind of I'm giving myself this afternoon to read physically, like read with my eyes, and then once I go inside and I make dinner and stuff like that, I do need to clean today and like do some laundry and stuff. And I have my sprints with Nicole tonight, as I usually do on Thursdays, and I'm hoping to be able to pick up an audiobook for that. But I don't think I can get Part of Your World right now as an audio. I guess I could check Everand, but it took so long just like getting it from the library that I feel like I'm not gonna get it from the library right now. So let me see if it's on Everand. It is not on Everand, so I might try my Libby app and see if I can find it, but I don't have super high hopes, just because it did take so long just to get the ebook. But yeah, so I'm hoping to find something that I can listen to for audio. I have a couple of books that I could finish, like that I've started, that are like sitting, because they they kind of got pushed to the side for June, and I have a couple of those that are on audio that I could finish those up and like clean and diamond paint and stuff like that, because I do want to do some other things today. So yeah, that's all I have. I'm gonna stop talking. I've been talking for, I don't know, like 7.5 minutes, but that's what I'm reading. So I have Love Unwritten, which I will pick up at some point today, probably. I don't have audio for that. I don't think the audio even comes out until like October or something, I think Reni said. And then Part of Your World, which I'm gonna work on, and I'm gonna pray I can find the audio, but I don't have high hopes, and I just feel like I can read this quick. It says I have about it's like a 5-hour book. I don't know if that's true, but we're gonna sit here, I'm gonna read, and yeah, I guess I'll give you some b-roll of me reading. I feel like that's boring, but I can do that. We don't do b-roll a lot on this channel, so I'm gonna put headphones in, I'm gonna read, I'm gonna hang out, and I will check in probably when I get to like 50%, or if something like super cute happens in this book, then I'll come back and I will check in. So it's been a little while for me, but seconds for you, and I'm here to talk about Part of Your World. I'm only 2 chapters in, so I just want to say that first. But I've been informed that I didn't mention these people, and that makes me like not a great book bestie, right? So Brittany and Aoife have also read and loved this book, which is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Aoife says this is the only book by this author that she's actually really liked, but that she generally loves it so much. So we were talking about it on sprints because they asked what I was reading, and I did not know that they had both read it. Or maybe I did and I just didn't remember, but I'm here to amend what I said. So basically a majority of my book besties have read this book, and I'm really excited for it. So I am only 2 chapters in, but so far like the banter is really cute. I've highlighted things. There's like a goat in this book at some point, because like the goat is on the front cover, so like I knew there was a goat, and like they've already mentioned like a kid. He's like, I have to go feed the kid. I'm genuinely loving it. So I just came here to say that I'm gonna go read. We've got about like 10 minutes left on this sprint before we jump over to Brittany's channel. So I'm gonna read for the next 10-ish minutes and try to finish this chapter. But to Brittany and Aoife, I'm sorry, and I still love you, and we're still friends. So that's all I have. Goodbye. Hello friends. All right, I am here to close out this vlog, and we're gonna talk really quick about what I'm currently reading. This vlog has been honestly all over the place, and that's fine. That's great and grand. Okay, so we got our leg 8 prompt. So I'm reading Love Unwritten for that, because I haven't finished this yet. So I don't think I'm on the chapter that I'm in this book, because I think I've read further than that. Let me just check my Kindle. Yeah, okay, so in here it says I'm on chapter 19, so I'm on chapter 20, which I'm eating some pineapple right now, so I'm about to just sit and read for a while, like until I have to get ready for work probably. So yeah, so I'm reading Love Unwritten. This is by Lauren Asher. I started this book last Wednesday, I believe, and then she kind of just got shelved just because I had Part of Your World that I had to read for everything else. So I read this. So let's see. chapter 21 is where we are at in this one. And yeah, so I'm going to read some of this before I go to work. I do have quite a bit to still read, but I am reading it on my Kindle, so I went ahead and grabbed it from Kindle Unlimited. So I'm gonna go ahead and read some of this. But I wanted to come through, I wanted to close out this vlog. This is where we're at. Love Unwritten. This is so pretty, and like the colors look so rich on the camera. But anyway, that's where we're at. Love Unwritten, which I'm reading, like I said, via Kindle. So cute. Okay, so that's where we're at. That's the end of this vlog, and I'm going to be starting another vlog like as soon as I finish this one. I need to edit this one and get it up for y'all. So thank you for watching. We love y'all so much, and I will see y'all in the next one.